War. War never changes. Unless you're on Mars, because war is more like losing a ton of resources and getting refugees. Hello everyone, my name's Illier2 and welcome to a Surviving Mars mystery video. Today we'll be discussing the Last War mystery. Now this mystery is classified as hard, and for good reason. I almost lost multiple times due to this challenge. It all starts at around Sol 60. You get a pop-up telling you there's been multiple terrorist attacks by an unknown group in Southeast Asia. Now, while terrorist attacks are nothing new in the modern world, these terrorists are completely unknown with an unknown cause. This has caused world tension to rise. A sol or two later, you'll get an event. Tensions are now rising in the third world countries. It reads, "In the wake of the attacks in Asia, many dormant grievances between the nations have been reignited, some of which go far back in time. The UN has sent out a tension meter as it warns that this situation has the potential to escalate into an all-out war if measures aren't taken." This is when you get a new notification of war tension. The number goes up about 1% per year, and when it hits 100, the apocalypse comes. After 5 sols of waiting, you get a new notification. It reads, "The ripples made by the attacks on Earth have toppled governments and paved the way for opportunists to ride a wave of populist fury. Border skirmishes are slowly spilling out into full-scale invasions, and the major powers are so far failing to instate a ceasefire. The relative peace Earth has been enjoying for the past century now seems to have been a fragile facade, beneath which grudges and ambitions have been festering in wait for the right moment. You now have an option. Either you increase the world tension by 5%, or you get an opportunity to get 50 more applicants to join Mars at an increase of 10% tension. Personally, I chose the former. Don't want Earth exploding, you know? After yet another 5 sols, another pop-up appears. Our sponsor has informed us that it is now playing a major role in peacekeeping efforts. They are now providing humanitarian aid to vast territories that are affected by the crisis. Millions have been displaced, and food is on severe shortage. This event will stop all resources from coming to Earth until the crisis is solved. You have about 5 years to get what you need and become fully self-sufficient. This is where the real challenge begins." After 5 sols, the supply embargo is in effect. If you aren't fully self-sufficient now, you might as well restart, as the embargo will not end until war tension is at 0. A year later, you are notified that the UN has reinstituted the Doomsday Clock, something they haven't done since the early 21st century. 4 sols later, you get notified of a refugee crisis on Earth. It reads, "With millions of refugees and governments reluctant to take in any at all, a humanitarian crisis on an unprecedented scale has developed. Dug in our struggle to survive Mars, we seem to have taken for granted that Earth, a place where there is enough of everything we need so desperately up here, is always there for us, should we need it. Now that we have established a somewhat solid presence on Mars, and Earth seems to be in a dark place, it seems that we have the opportunity to return the favor. You now get a ship with 20 refugees that want to join the colony. Make sure that you have an available dome and food for them, as they come with nothing but the clothes on their back. Accepting them will decrease war tension by 10%. Another 5 sols and another pop-up comes. A blatant lie is gaining traction on Earth. A faction in the Wars on Earth, an alliance of several smaller states, has come out and outright accused International Mars Mission of using the Mars Project as a backdrop for developing and testing forbidden weapons, which are then used on their people. The UN now wants to probe the Mars colony for weapons to make sure that the rumor is false. If you let them, then the colony's morale will drop by 10. But if you refuse, then the war tension will increase by 10. 5 more sols, and the war has finally begun. Regional conflicts have dragged the major powers on Earth to declare war on one another. Earth is now officially going through its third world war. Now all rockets are unavailable, no matter what it's carrying. A year later, the UN announces that humanity is now 1 minute to midnight. 10 sols after World War III begins. Rockets are now available, however, you can't order any resources, just people, prefabs, and robots. Another 5 sols later, you are now instructed to send rare metals back to Earth to ease tension. You won't get any money from it, however. Every few years, a new rocket will come, and every rocket will decrease tension by 10%. 5 sols, And a surprising notification: Earth attacks Mars. Our support for our sponsor has brought attention to us once more, and now retaliation is imminent. This is less scary than it sounds, however. Essentially, you'll get a meteor strike at one of your domes. Not too bad, but if it hits an important area, it could be game over for you. Another 5 souls and another event. There are now 50 refugees wanting to come to Mars. This is an insane number, but taking them in will ease tension by 10% again. However, at this point, my colony was beginning to run out of supplies, including food. This was where things got really chaotic. Now, if you've ever played a Paradox game before, then you'll know that in times of crisis, there's nothing better than getting a comet sighted. That's right, even though humanity has colonized Mars, don't think that the general public is smart enough to know what a comet is. No matter what you choose, you'll get another 10 war tension. 10 souls pass, and at this point you're probably on the brink of starvation and giving up, so why not get another 100 refugees at once? That's right, 100 refugees. I got extremely lucky here, because I was just finishing up a medium dome that could actually fit them all, and got them working in the mines. 5 souls, and the final event pops up. Earth will now send 5 rockets to Mars, each to pick up massive quantities of goods. 200 rare metals, 400 metals, 200 food, 200 electronics, and 200 machine parts. Now don't freak out if you don't have enough of all, however, as each decreases tension by 20%, and after a few rockets, it finally ended. After 10 excruciating souls, I had finally succeeded. Hatred has lost. Sound minds and human compassion emerge victorious. The drums of war have ceased their relentless beating, and those who have survived the wars are looking at the death and destruction it caused. Never has it been so obvious how little a spark can wipe out our entire race once and for all. And this has reached the heart of every human soul on Earth. Now for your reward, you get a spike of applicants, a dramatic reduction on the price of goods from Earth for a couple years, and the technology localized terraforming, which allows you to build a new type of dome. Like I said in the beginning, this mystery was rated correctly. Not only was I playing with the easiest sponsor in a very easy area, but I also got extremely lucky at some points. This made my game much more interesting though, and I encourage the rest of you to try this challenge for yourself. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Illiard2, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.